Especially the way those lips curve.
The story begins with a woman preparing a face mask made of wax. Nearby, her son is sitting and having breakfast. Just then, her husband arrives with their other son, who has an extremely aggressive nature. His condition is so uncontrollable that no one can restrain him, and they are forced to tie him to a chair. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to another place. We see Carly, her brother Nick, and their 3 friends traveling by car on a long road trip to watch a football game in Louisiana. Since the journey is long, they decide to stop along the way and set up a camp, planning to spend the night there because the match is scheduled for the next morning. That night, everyone is busy having fun. One of the boys has a camera and is recording the entire trip. But soon, something strange is noticed. A horrifying stench of decay fills the air, and they can't figure out where it's coming from. A huge truck pulls up in front of them and starts flashing its headlights repeatedly, clearly trying to disturb them. They signal the driver to stop, but he doesn't respond. Frustrated, one of the boys angrily throws a bottle, shattering the truck's headlight. The truck then drives away. After that, everyone goes back to their tents and falls asleep. In the middle of the night, Carly suddenly wakes up. She senses that someone is outside their tent, but fearing danger, she doesn't step out.
Hey, it's 2:30, get up!
In the morning, they discover that their friend's camera, containing all of last night's footage, is missing. On top of that, someone has sabotaged their car. Once again, Carly and one of her friends smell the same strong, rotten odor coming from the woods. Following the smell, they move in that direction. Suddenly, Carly falls into a deep pit filled with the carcasses of dead animals. The terrible stench is coming from there. Terrified, she starts screaming at the top of her lungs. Hearing her screams, her friend Wade rushes over and with great difficulty manages to pull Carly out of the pit. Carly is completely shaken. Just then, a truck arrives and a man gets out carrying a dead deer, which he throws into the same pit. Carly says she saw a human hand inside the pit, which makes her even more frightened. However, the man casually picks it up and shows them that it's just a fake hand. Still, his behavior feels strange, very unusual. Wade then asks him if he knows a mechanic, since their car belt is broken and they can't go any further. The man tells them there's a mechanic in the nearby town and offers to give them a ride there. Wade and Carly go with him, while Carly's brother Nick heads toward the football game with the rest of the group. However, on the way, they get stuck in heavy traffic. As a result, they miss the game and decide to return to the camp. Meanwhile, Carly and Wade reach the town, but the place looks completely deserted, like a ghost town. They stand outside an old church when a man named Bo comes out. He tells them that he owns a gas station and can provide the belt they need for their car. However, he asks them to come back after half an hour. After hearing this, Carly and Wade begin wandering aimlessly through the town's streets. Suddenly, someone secretly watches them from a house window. A sense of unease fills the air. At that moment, Carly receives a call from her brother. He tells her that they've returned. Carly asks them to pick her up from the town in half an hour. Feeling bored, Carly and Wade continue walking and eventually stop in front of a building called the House of Wax, which has a closed sign hanging on it. Wade suggests that they go inside. They enter the building and find it filled with wax statues. But these statues seem different, so lifelike that they look like real people. Wade notices a wax dog, but as he approaches it, the dog suddenly starts barking. It's actually alive. Meanwhile, Carly is in another room and feels like someone is watching her. She gets scared, and both of them quickly leave the building. Outside, the atmosphere is just as mysterious, with silence all around. Just then, Bo arrives and takes them to the garage at his gas station. They start looking for the belt, but they can't find one in the correct size for their vehicle. Bo tells them that he has the right belt at his house and suggests going there. They agree, and the two of them head toward his house. On the way, Bo tells them that a family once lived in the House of Wax. The husband was a doctor, and his wife and their 2 children lived there with him. But one day, both the husband and wife died, leaving the children orphaned. Soon, they arrive outside Bo's house. Carly stays outside while Wade says he needs to use the bathroom and goes inside. Carly is still waiting outside when she notices a truck. It's the same truck that had shown its headlights on them at the campsite, the one whose headlight they had broken. Seeing it, Carly shudders in fear. She tries calling Wade, but he doesn't answer. Just then, the power in the house goes out. Inside the house, Wade suddenly sees a shadow appear before him, a figure whose face is made of wax. The man viciously attacks Wade's leg, badly injuring him. Somehow, Wade manages to stumble outside where Carly is standing. The attacker also lunges at Carly, but she manages to escape and run away. Carly remembers that there are many people at the church, so she rushes there to seek help. But as soon as she enters the church, she is horrified. Everyone inside is actually a wax figure. Slowly, the terrifying truth is revealed. All the wax statues there were once living people. They were killed, and their bodies were coated with wax. From the outside, they look like mannequins, but inside them are real human corpses. At this point, Bo arrives, captures Carly, and takes her to the basement of his gas station. There, he tightly ties her up and seals her mouth with glue so she can't speak. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Bo's house, where we see the other man who brutally attacked Wade. He turns out to be Bo's brother. He has tied Wade firmly to a chair and then pours boiling wax over him, turning Wade into a wax statue. Elsewhere, Carly's brother Nick arrives at the location with their two friends. Together, they split up to search for Carly and Wade. Nick comes outside the gas station just as Bo steps out from inside, the same basement where Carly is being held captive. Nick asks Bo, "Have you seen a boy and a girl around here?" But Bo flatly denies it. Carly recognizes her brother's voice. Desperate, she tries to free herself and manages to push one finger out from beneath the basement railing so her brother might see it. Unfortunately, Nick doesn't notice and starts to leave. Summoning all her strength, Carly tears her lips free from the glue and calls out to him. Hearing her voice, Nick immediately rushes inside and locks the gas station door from the inside. He then goes down to the basement and frees Carly. When they come back out, they find that Bo has vanished. At this point, the truth about the mysterious woman who was seen peeking through the window is also revealed. She too is a wax statue, positioned in such a way with the curtains that it appears she occasionally moves them to look outside. This illusion was created so that any outsider would believe someone was still living there. In reality, there is no one alive in the entire town except Bo and his brother. Now, one of Carly's friends is shown entering the house of wax. Inside, he sees their friend Wade sitting in front of a piano, but Wade is now completely made of wax, a disturbingly lifelike statue. Before he can fully process what he's seeing, Bo's brother suddenly appears, attacks him, and kills him as well. By now, all of Carly and Nick's friends have been killed. Only the two of them remain alive. They reach a shop where they collect some weapons, but Bo arrives there as well. To save themselves, they run and hide in an old movie theater filled with wax statues. They sit perfectly still among the figures, pretending to be statues themselves. Bo enters the theater too, holding a gun, and starts searching for them among the statues. At the right moment, Nick fires an arrow at him, knocking Bo unconscious. Carly and Nick then head straight to Bo's house, still hoping that Wade might somehow be alive. But as soon as they enter, they are forced to face the truth. Wade is dead. Inside the house, they find a very old photograph showing two conjoined twin children. Those twins are none other than Bo and his brother. The two children shown at the beginning of the story were actually Bo and his brother. Their father was a doctor who surgically separated them for medical reasons. After the surgery, Bo's brother's face was severely disfigured, which is why their mother made him a wax mask to cover it. They now move toward the basement, where they discover that all their remaining friends have been killed. This basement also controls the electricity for the entire town. They turn the power back on. Bo, who has regained consciousness, has returned home and realizes that Nick and Carly are in the basement.
That's Vincent!
Bo's brother heads toward the basement and suddenly attacks Nick. In response, Nick sets the place on fire. Because of the flames, Bo's brother can't get close. If he does, the wax on his face will melt. Taking advantage of this moment, Nick and Carly escape and run straight into the House of Wax, which is connected to the house. Bo follows them there and launches a deadly attack on Nick, seriously injuring him. Meanwhile, the fire spreads and reaches the House of Wax, causing everything inside to slowly melt. Just before Bo can kill Nick, Carly strikes Bo from behind, killing him. Bo's brother then appears and sees that his brother is dead. Enraged, he charges toward Carly, intent on killing her. Carly tries to stop him, explaining that his brother had only been using him and that it's time to let go of the past and start a new life. But he refuses to listen and continues his attack. Before he can kill her, Nick attacks him again. A brutal fight breaks out, and Carly seizes the moment to stab Bo's brother with a knife. He falls down, landing on Bo's dead body, and the two brothers end up fused together once again, just as they were when they were born. The fire spreads throughout the house, and since the entire structure is made of wax, it begins to melt. Carly somehow manages to carry Nick out of the burning place. The next morning, the police arrive at the scene and are stunned by what they see. According to records, the town's sugar mill had shut down 10 years earlier, and the entire town had been officially closed ever since. Yet the town remained perfectly preserved, created and maintained by Bo and his brothers, who had killed nearly every traveler who came there and turned them into wax statues. Carly and Nick are taken away in an ambulance. As they leave, they see the same man who had earlier been shown placing a deer into a pit in the woods, sitting nearby. From this, Carly and Nick realize that Bo and his brother were not just two, there was a third brother as well. He smiles and bids them farewell. Unlike his brothers, there is no fear on his face, only a deep sense of satisfaction. And with that, the story, the film, comes to an end.